buhay, kapisanan, kasaysayan, Pilipinas. Makasaysayan gabi po sa ating lahat. Ako po si Xiao Chua. Welcome to Vibal Group, Kasaysayan, Kaysaya. Ayan, napakasaya po na gabi natin ngayon, sapagkat special po ang ating bisita. Ngayong Women's Month pa rin, mga kaibigan. So last time po, si Dr. Maria Luisa Camagay, ang isa sa mga pangunahing historiador na babae sa Pilipinas ang ating in-interview. Kaabang-abang po sapagkat participant naman sa mga makasaysayang pangyayari ang ating kakausapin ngayong gabing ito. Live na live po tayo, live and alive, mga kaibigan, hindi po ito tape. Kaya yung una po natin, early bird, binabati po natin Rosalie Fernandez Naong, hello po. Jean May Sagid Ilagan, hello. Jeannie Granada Lucica, Melody N. Lozano, Lit Hatulan Hilot, hello po. 31 na po yung watchers natin, isang classroom na po yan. Maya-maya madadagdagan pa ho yan sa ating while the show goes on, at nagbi-build pa tayo ng audience ngayon. John Paul Lorenzo Morales, hello po. Marcos Haranilla, maraming salamat kaibigan sa pagsama. Siyempre, batiin natin yung mga malalakas na babae sa aking buhay. Sorry. Ayan, naubo na tuloy ako. Excuse me po. Wala pong iba kundi yung may birthday ngayon. Yung may birthday po ngayon, ang aking ina, Vilma Briones Chua. Ayan. My mother, Vilma, nasa Tarlac City po, I love you very much. Happy birthday. Nagkasama na po tayo nung isang araw. Salamat po at napakasaya ng ating pamilya. Gayon din ang aking kapatid na babae, Michelle Chua. Ayan. Binabati ko ang aking sister-in-law na si Faye, asawa ng kapatid kong si Mark, at syempre si Baby Mace, mga malalakas na babae, Oo, Marcos Saranilla will be in Manila tomorrow. Hello po. Please enjoy your stay in Manila. Mary Joyce Lana, Maris Masilungan, from Alay Pag-asa CFI. Salamat po, John Paul Lorenzo Morales, Okay, salamat po. Tapos syempre binabati ko rin, ang aking girlfriend, Mai Orozco, ng Department of Education. At syempre binabati din natin yung malalakas na babae diyan sa Vibal Group. Yes. Syempre yung kasama lagi ni Sir Gaspar Vibal, Ma'am Kristine Mandigma. Hello po, Happy Women's Month. Syempre nandiyan din Rio Brino Lim. Maraming salamat. Jannica Catle, Catle. At syempre si Sandra, Théa, Omar. I love it. I love it. So yan po, kita nyo naman, masayang-masaya tayo. Emily Solomon, hello po, Salamat po at mabuhay kayong lahat. Ayan, sige. Sino pa ba? Mga may nagpapabati pa bago na tayo magsimula. At pagka nagsimula tayo, tuloy-tuloy na po ang ating kwentuhan, mga kaibigan. Alright, sige. So ngayon po, dadako na tayo sa ating panayam pagkatapos po ng ilang mga paalala.
Bertong kunat! Daryong Dagol! Ano tong balitang pinagkakalat mo dito sa baluarte ko, ha?
Anong balita?
Huwag ka na magmaang-maangan pa!
Ayun ba? Hindi ba totoo naman? Nasabi ang lunas sa COVID. Alam mo ba kung nasaan naman kang mayaw? Nasaan naga talaga yun? At higit sa lahat, fake news talaga yung ads sa revolution.
Ungas ka ba? Ano ba pinagsasabi mo? Saan mo pinagkukuha yan?
Siyempre, nag-research ako, sa Tuktuk University. Palibasa kasi at umugot ka na at laos, kaya hindi mo alam yun.
Lord naman! Magpaulan ka naman ng katalinuhan!
Reliable source of information, sari-saring content na isinulat ng mga eksperto, mga librong di kalidad na abot hanggang sa doomsday, tumawag ka lang sa akin. By the way, hindi ako si Lord. Ako si Vibal.
O pre, tingnan mo to. Di ba sabi ko sa'yo, totoo ang EDSA Revolution?
Ah, oo nga no. O tapos ito, wala pala talaga sa Naga ang bulkang mayon.
Sabi ko sa'yo eh.
Yan mga kaibigan, ano? May papakita lang ako sa inyo, no? Kaya medyo nahuli ako. Kinuha ko lang yung mga libro, no? Na bago nating may pakikita, tignan nyo naman ito, ha? Tunggal Hula Dua Sara, Adat and Sharia Laws in the Life of the Tausugs. By Haji Mashur bin Ghalib Jundam, PhD. Sa mga interesado po sa kulturang Muslim, batas ng Muslim, lalo-lalo na sa mga Tausug, ito po ang isang napakagandang material. Sa Vibal Shop lamang po natin makukuha yan. Ito, mismong gawa ni Mr. Gaspar A. Vibal, bullfighting. Bullfighting in the Philippines. Meron pala nun. Mga kaibigan, bullfighting in the Philippines. Isang mahalagang kulturang Spanish po. No? Na nagkaroon pala sa Pilipinas. 1602, tingnan nyo, to 2022. Bah, talaga, may bullfighting hanggang 2022. Mababasa niyo po yan kay Ginoong Gaspar Vibal. No? Gayon din, sa lungat, kay Soledad S. Reyes Reader, mabibili niyo po sa Vibal Shop. Ano po ito? Siya po ay isang scholar ng kulturang popular culture. No? At recently po, napirmahan po niya ang aking kopya. No? Isang dakilang Ateneo educator, yang si Soledad Reyes. Gayon din, of course, at hanggang ngayon, ang mga more natin, more Hispanic than we admit 3, na inedit po ni Ginoong Jorge Mojaro. Ayan, pirmado din po yung ating kopya dyan. Siyempre, ito yung ilan sa mga classic. Meron tayong More Pinay Than We Admit. More Pinay Than We Admit ni Dr. Kamagay. Edited by Dr. Kamagay. Ito naman, More Tomboy, More Bakla Than We Admit. Ni Mark Blasius, edited by Mark Blasius and Richard Chu. At siyempre mga kaibigan, ang isa sa pinakabago, More Cebuano Than We Admit. More Cebuano Than We Admit, edited by Resin Mujares, Hope sa Banpanyu, no? Yan yung mga essays, no? At academic essays tungkol sa Filipino identity, iba-ibang diverse Filipino identity. At syempre gayon din, sorry kukunin ko lang at pataas. Yan. Philippine Genealogy and Religious and Art History. Philippine Genealogy and Religious and Art History, the Luciano P.R. Santiago Reader, edited by Jobers Reynes Bersales with a forward by Ino Manalo. Of course, and the late Luciano P.R. Santiago is a genealogist and also an expert in religious art. No? So, yon mga kaibigan. No? Ang dami po. Ang dami pa actually. Madami pa yan. No? May mga bago next time na ho natin ipapakita, but we are going to proceed. Mas makikilala nyo pa siya sa ating kwentuhan mamaya. Pero ang, of course, ang atin pong guest ngayon ay papakilala ko na siya po ay Managing Director, CEO Advisors Incorporated. Isa po sa 100 most influential women in the world. In the world, 2014 at 2016. Gayun din po siya ay nagtamon ng 2021, bagong-bago, Hildegard Award na binibigay ng St. Scholastica's College. Hildegard Award for Women in Media and Communication. Isa pong broadcaster ng People Power Revolution. Wala pong iba kundi si Ma'am Marianne Maan Hontiveros.
Magandang gabi sa iyo, Xiao. Magandang gabi. Maraming salamat na inimbitan niyo ako dito sa show mo. By the way, bago sa lahat, siguro nakakaingit yung library mo, no? Napakadaming libro.
Ay, awa po
Nabilang mo na ba kung ilan ang libro sa library mo?
Ay ma'am, magandang tanong yan. Actually, hindi pa. Pero basically ma'am, sa sobrang dami ng libro sa bahay, actually, nasunog kasi yung bahay namin sa Tarlac, pero maraming na-save na libro. marami po sa mga yon ay nasa Valenzuela City Library na ho. Niloan po namin yung mga books para mapakinabangan din.
Very
Isang
good.
buong wall yon. Tapos meron pa akong isang bahay na puro libro lang ang laman. Ay nirerentahan ko ho para hindi masikip dito sa bahay. Kasi
Yeah,
yun lang kasi kailangan pa rin yung mga books talaga eh. Pero
of
yun.
course.
And yun kasi siyempre alam niyo naman ngayon yung pagbabaluktot sa kasaysayan, ma'am, dito natin nalaman hindi pala lahat ay nasa internet. Yan ang kaya mahalaga pa rin yung pagbili ng libro. Ito ma'am, sisimulan ko na makikilala.
Okay.
Alam niyo ma'am, nanghihinayang lang kami kasi hindi pala kayo makakalabas ngayong araw na ito sa aming screen, ano? Oo.
Bakit hindi?
Ay, hindi pa kayo nagpapakita, ma'am eh. O picture
Ay!
mo ng ano eh.
Ah,
Hindi namin makita ang inyong kaganda.
Eto.
Ayan. Teka ma'am, nakatagilid kayo. So, i-ano nyo lang.
nakatagilid.
Nakatagilid.
Kailangan ganyan.
Yan, yun. Ako, yun. Hindi nakita natin ang kagandahan ng ating guest ngayong araw na ito. Salamat, ma'am. Salamat po. Yan, wow. Very good, very good. Okay. Ma'am, ito po, no? Kasi mahalaga yung, ito lagi kong tinatanong sa mga guests namin para malaman namin din yung kanilang buhay, ano? What is your earliest memory of your childhood? Sa naaalala nyo po?
My earliest memory must have been siguro nursery school, nursery ako sa St. Paul. Kasi naaalala ko pa yung gardener doon sa St. Paul's College sa Manila.
Opo.
Dahil lahat ng mga students takot na takot sa kanya kasi may dala siyang garden shears at sinasabi niya sa amin na if you cut my flowers, I will cut your neck. Pero alam mo naging kaibigan ko yung kasi nung nasa St. Paul ako, 3 years old ako, pinasok na ako sa eskwelahan ng mother ko kasi sobra kong daldal, hindi niya ako ma-manage sa bahay. Kaya when my brother was old enough to go to kindergarten, 5 years old siya, sinabi ng mother ko sa mga St. Paul nuns, buy one, take one nito, you have to take also Maan. So pinasok nila ako sa nursery. Pero syempre, wala naman akong concentration, so palabas-pasok ako sa classroom. So kinaibigan ko itong matandang to. So that's my earliest memory because I remember also yung sandbox doon sa St. Paul. Doon ako parati naglalaro. Tapos siguro the next memory I have is mga 5 years old na siguro ako when my grandfather died. Because I remember very clearly that scene in the house of my lolo where I saw his coffin. So I think those are the earliest.
Ma'am, ano yan sabi kasi sa akin, si Winston Churchill nung sinulat niya yung autobiography niya, yan ang una niyang tinalakay because apparently yung earliest memory na tumatak sa atin in a way it defines the whole life in many ways So na yung kadaldalan ninyo, 'di ba, naging broadcaster kayo, 'di ba?
Siguro nga.
Yung pagiging close nyo sa mga siguro sa mga sa kapwa-tao, yung pakikipagkapwa-tao nyo, na-practice nyo doon sa inyong hardinero doon sa St. Paul's.
Siguro nga, no?
Diba? And then of
That's
course
interesting.
yung impact sa yung pagiging historical, yung pagkakaroon ng sense na mahalagang memory ito and you participate in it, yung funeral I think
Yes.
ng grandfather ninyo.
Oo.
Now, siguro I'll jump in kasi syempre we have no luxury of time, but I'll jump into already when did you become interested? Kasi kilala kayo talaga. Kahit yung nanay ko, I'm sure nagpa-fangirl yung nanay ko ngayon na nanonood dito, no, na ang kausap ko ay si Maan Hontiveros. Kilala kayo talaga as broadcaster. Pero paano nagsimula yung interest nyo sa media? Very early ba nag-participate na kayo sa campus journalism or paano ho ito nagsimula?
Oo, quite early kasi since kindergarten, grade school, kasali ako parati sa theater, no? I was one of Father Reuter's babies. So,
really?
Yeah, oo. So, mga stage productions, St. Paul, tapos sa Scholastica, nagpatuloy din doon. wala naman kaming broadcasting courses sa Saints ko. So I studied English literature. Pero ang first foray ko into television, I was still in college. Nung I took over yung show ni June Keithley na Lollipop Party, children's program yun sa Channel 5. And umalis si June kasi she went to study in New York. So naging vacant yung position ng host. So tinawagan ako ni Leo Martinez, oy Maan, they're going to call for auditions, no, for Lollipop Party, baka interesado ka. So nag-audition nga ako and I got the job.
ABC5, this was pre-martial law.
Pre-martial law. This was in 1969.
Wow.
Hindi ka pa pinanganak siguro, no?
Tapos sa St. Paul's din kayo, hindi pa ma'am, 1984 ako eh. Sa St. Paul's din kayo nag-aaral.
No, I was already in St. Scholastica's College.
St.
Transfer na ako doon. Yes, oo. Yeah.
Pero ma'am, ito, itatanong ko lang, kasi siyempre, aside from, una, contextualize lang natin sa mga bata, 1969, hindi pa masyadong marami yung television.
Wala, hindi pa.
Hindi pa.
Kukonti.
Yung kapag mayaman ka, may TV ka, tapos pagka yung mga kapitbahay mo gustong makipanood, doon sa bintana yung pakikipanood. Diba? Tapos isasapakan ka ng bintana pag maramot yung kapitbahay mo. Now,
correct.
Tapos, yan. Kaya nga, sinasabi nyo, wala pang masyadong broadcasting courses. Kasi hindi naman napakarami ng broadcasters at ng channels, no?
Tama.
ABC5, RPN 9, I think, may ABS-CBN na, of course. Wala pang GMA noon, and I think some other channels. Pero hindi yung ABC5 matagal na yan, Roses yan eh.
Yes.
Panahon na yun. So 1969. Pero Scholastican kayo, no? Yung Saint Scholastican, nandyan na yan sa site niya kung nasan yung Saints ko ngayon, 'di ba? Sa
sa Leon Ginto.
Oo. Ang question ko, ma'am, yung mga madre noon, kasi pag Saint Scholastica, ang image talaga namin dyan, si Mary Jan Manansan eh. Palaban na ba talaga sila noon? May social, kumbaga, mayroon na silang social parang aspect yung kanilang pagtuturo sa Saint?
Yes. Very, very much. Kasi, I remember sa college, lumalabas kami ng campus, nagtuturo kami ng catechism sa mga poor areas, no? At saka we were encouraged to join extracurricular activities outside. Kasi sabi nila, you have to be relevant. You have to know what's happening in the country.
Ganda.
So Saint Scholastica really from early on encouraged us to go out of the campus. So we were members of the National Union of Students of the Philippines. Participate kami sa mga demonstrations.
Right.
Talagang progressive ang St. Scholastica's College.
Wow, yun talaga ang tradisyon niya talaga, no? Ma'am,
yes.
Ay iba ako, babalik tayo sa Saints ko mamaya. Bigla ko lang naisip, yung Padre Hontiveros ba na yung Suita ay kamag-anak ninyo?
Yes. He's my uncle. Yan yung younger brother ng father ko, si Father Honti.
Opo.
Mahal na mahal ko yun eh.
Sa mga hindi ko nakakaalam, although kasi iniba na rin yung mga kanta ng misa, no? Si Father Hontiveros talaga, after Vatican II, di ba kasi dati before Vatican II, chant lang naman yung mga misa. Hindi ko alam kung kumakanta sila ng ama namin, no? Puro Latin ng misa nun eh. Pero
Latin ng misa, yes.
After Vatican II, 70s, 80s, si Father Hontiveros po, yung gumawa ng mga unang misang Pilipino na songs.
Yes.
Ama namin sumasalangit
sa langit ka, sambahin ang ngalan mo.
Yes. Yun. Saka yung
Kordero
ng Diyos na nag-aalis ng mga I think
kasalanan ng sanlibutan.
Right.
Yes, we're very proud of Father Honti. Siyang tinatawag nating Father of Philippine Liturgical Music.
That's true. So, yung mga sumunod, sino ba tong mga sumunod? Jesuit din.
Yes.
Sikat ngayon, nakalimutan ko na yung pangalan. Father, I forgot. Mamaya, maalala natin. Pero ma'am, tapos yung mga famous Hontiveros din, yung magkapatid, Théa Hontiveros, si
Enrisa
Hontiveros Senator, pinsan po ninyo, tama ba?
Pinsang buo ko sila.
Buo.
Magkakapatid yung aming mga aming fathers.
Na ngayon, naging interesado ako. Ano po ang background ng Hontiveros family? Saan sila nagmula? Ano ang kanilang, usually, ano ang kanilang mga ginagawa, ma'am? Yung mga magulang.
My grandfather, si Jose Miraflores Hontiveros, was a senator. He was also a member of the first he was among those who drafted the first constitution of the Philippines.
Malolos Congress.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. And he was a senator of Capiz, and he was one of the first justices of the Supreme Court.
Wow.
But he was the only politician in the family. Nobody followed in the second generation. And then my generation now, the third generation, Risa and my cousin Inday Hontiveros Almalbis are the only two who entered politics. The rest of us were in different fields. A lot of us are in arts and theater. Kasi si Daisy Hontiveros Avellana, is my auntie. She's the sister of my father, and she is the national artist for theater of the Philippines. Yes, for theater. She was married to Lamberto Avellana, who was also a national artist for film, for cinema. Yes. So the family is really involved in theater, no?
So yung grandfather nyo na namatay, yun yung senador.
Yes. Yes.
So that would have been a big event, ano?
Yes. And I remember him very well because I was very, very close to him kasi we lived also near his house. He lived in Iran, and we studied nga in St. Paul.
Iran,
no? Every day after school,
Pedro Hill, Iran.
Yes, Iran. So every day after school, I would always pass by Lolo's house, and make kuwento with him. So I was very, very close to my Lolo. That's why when he passed away, I was 5 years old. I remember that day so clearly.
I think it also merits now that we entered to your family. I did not expect to ask this question. Describe your parents to me, and probably what did you learn from them?
Well, my father was a guerrilla during the Japanese War. He was an engineer, very bright, very forthright person, and he was a storyteller. He was a storyteller of the family, no? Siguro that's where I got my gift of gab. It comes from my dad, no? So and of course I was the first daughter. I was the second child, but I was the first daughter, so I was the daddy's girl, no? And my mother was a very outgoing person as well. She had a beautiful opera singing voice, but she passed away quite young. She was only 59 when she passed away. So most of my adult life, my later adult life, was spent with my father because my mom had passed away already.
Wow.
So both of them encouraged us to be assertive, no? We are 9 kids kasi, there are 9 of us, no? And if you don't speak up, your voice will get drowned among 9 kids.
That's true. And that's a very good thing kasi all your life you have been assertive, di ba? About many things which we will talk about later, no? So, punta na natin yung babalik natin sa Saints ko. 1969, of course. This is the summer of love in America. This is the time of the Beatles, di ba? The hippie movement, the anti-war movement, and the civil rights movement. In the whole world, in China, there's the Cultural Revolution. In the Philippines, of course, young people are also yearning for change, and there's activism of the moderates and the radicals. And you have States ko, by 1969 to 1970, Marcos will win. Of course, some people would say fraudulently sa kanyang second term as president. And then, of course, we all know what happened there, the first quarter storm. No?
Yes.
Kaigtingan ng protests ng kabataan laban sa rehimen ni Marcos. Wala pang martial law, pero lumalabas na yung mga tendensiya niya bilang isang pinuno, including the graft and corruption which was coming out at that time, 1969, 1970. Ma'am, saan kayo nakaposisyon nun? May kasi college kayo nun. Of course, may mga discussion groups din kayo noon. Saan nakaposisyon? Nasa moderates ba kayo o nasa radicals kayo nung sumama kayo sa movement?
No, kasi we were with the National Union of Students of the Philippines. So it was considered parang left of center.
Yeah,
no?
okay. Moderate yan.
Left of center.
NUSP.
In fact, the people who were involved in NUSP were Edgar Hopson.
Yes.
Yeah, so Edgar Hopson eventually joined the left, and
Right.
he was killed in Davao. He was annihilated by the military in Davao. Remember? Chito Santa Romana was also with us in the National Union of Students of the Philippines. In fact, he was a very close friend of mine, no? But then
Naiiwan sa China.
yes, and then he moved to UP, and then he led that student delegation that went to China in 1971 or 72.
Yes,
71. In 1971, before martial law was declared.
And ano yon? Naabutan sila ng Plaza Miranda bombing, and then
Yes.
was declared the writ of habeas corpus, the
Correct.
the privilege of the writ. And so, nakausap namin, I think, a month ago, si yung kasama niya, who is now the ambassador to China,
Yes.
si Jaime
Flor Cruz.
Right.
Si Jaime Flor Cruz, yes.
Balikan natin
Yes.
yun, mga kabibal. Balikan natin yung episode na yon. Nakausap natin si Sir Jaime Flor Cruz. Kasama niya si Sir Chito Santa Romana na nagpaiwan na sa China, no? Kasi nga,
Yes.
testuhin sila before martial law happened dahil sinuspend na nga yung writ. So, yun palang circle ninyo, ma'am. So, describe those times, ma'am, yung panahon na iyon na did you participate in that mob mobilization in Congress?
Yes, the first quarter storm. So yes, the Scholasticans participated in that, and in fact, nung nagka-riot, nagkagulo, yung students were being bludgeoned and all that, and hauled off to jail. We had to go. I remember Doyle Laurel came with us to visit the different hospitals to check on the students, and also to the city jail to try and bring out the students who were arrested. No. So yeah, those were very. In fact, nung hapon na yon, before the riot started, we saw some of the riot squad police. No,
Right.
they were young. They were young. Nakikipagbiroan pa nga kami. We're saying, oh, you remember, tandaan yung mukha ko, ha? Wag nyo kaming paluin mamaya, ha? Tandaan yung mukha namin. We really did not expect it to become violent like that, but that was quite a moment.
Well, that story nga is nagulat na lang si Edjok because they actually dispersed the rally already. But apparently, the radicals remained and sila na ngayon nagtapon ng kabaong ng bato.
Yeah.
In
fact, yung parang
sumalis na.
Chow, in fact, I remember it, yung parang when I saw those placards flying towards what do you call that, the entourage of President Marcos, parang the slow motion yung lipad ng mga placards parang it froze in my brain. I could see it flying over. I said, oh my goodness, lintik na to talaga, magkakagulo na.
And so it did. What happened to you?
And so it did. So everybody was scattered. We were trying to get the Scholasticans back into the buses. And I remember, that was also a very important moment for me because we had rehearsals that night for Fiddler on the Roof. Si
Oh.
Peke Galiaga was directing Fiddler on the Roof for St. Scholastica's College. So I knew that there was going to be a dress rehearsal, and Peke had already said, whoever does not show up for the dress rehearsal will get fired. Okay? Eh, nagkarayot. And we had to look for students and everything. Hindi ako nakadating sa rehearsals. And I remember, I had the lead role there of Goldie, the mother in Fiddler on the Roof. So, of course, Peke had to fire me, no? Because he already said,
Right.
nagbitaw na siya, na pag
Yeah.
you don't show up for the rehearsals, you get fired. So I remember, I was very sad about it, but I was saying, hey, bayan muna, no? So I accepted it, and I volunteered to do lights, to do the spotlights. Ang galit ng mother ko when she found out that I got fired from and on top of which I volunteered pa to do the lights. Ang galit niya kay Peke. She did not speak to Peke Galiaga for like years because of that.
Nakakatuwa. No, I'll show you some pictures para may idea kayo, no. That was January 26 of 1970. No, na kakatapos pa lang ni Marcos na manumpa sa kanyang ikalawang term. And then there was the State of the Nation address in the National Museum, where the Spoliarium is now. That used to be the House of Representatives, no? So doon nangyari yung yung rally, and probably si Ma'am Marianne is one of those, Ma'am Maan is one of those people there. They're very close actually to the pediment, no? At saka doon sa way where the entourage of President Marcos, yung car niya, is waiting as he comes out, no? And ito na nga yung nangyari, no? Ito yung dinidescribe. So tinapon yung mga placards din, yung kabaong, yung buhaya, yung mga bato, no? To the direction of President Marcos when he came out. So ito na nga yun. As you can see, Marcos is here. And then ito yung mga police na nagsishield sa kanya, including, of course, his military aide, General, Colonel pa lang siguro noon, Fabian Ber.
Yeah.
Yung niya, ayan, no? Fabian Ber is shielding the president, and this is where ito yung naging test sa kanya ng loyalty, and that's why of course eventually he will become the chief of staff of the armed forces. Inungusan lahat ng mga magagaling na general from West Point like Ramos and from the PMA, no? Kaya malaking politika din yung PMA versus the ROTC kasi sina Fabian Ber, mga ROTC yan eh. Oh. And then ito na nga ma'am, yung dinidescribe nyo, yung mga paluan.
Oo.
Yung Judy Tagiwalo, ito yung legs niya eh. Shout out kay
Oo.
mabuhay.
Nasaktan dyan si Judy, yes.
So yan, siya yan, legs niya yan, ano? So talagang madugo yung gabing yan ng nung nangyari sa Kongreso nung January 26. Now, ganito, ma'am, ganito. Kasi sasabihin nila, kaya naman pala nag-martial law kasi yung gulo-gulo ng mga kabataan eh. Diba?
Hindi naman.
Do you think that is right? From someone who was there, how do you explain yourself? Bakit ba kayo nag-quote unquote lumalaban sa gobyerno at that time? Para alam nila.
Hindi justification yon. I mean, sure that particular demonstration turned bloody, no? But I mean, parang overreaction din sila dun eh.
Right.
Wala namang natamaan. Yung nag-fly yung mga placards, wala namang natamaan. Pero talagang pinaghampas-hampas nila yung mga estudyante, no? And martial law was declared not because there were student demonstrations. The martial law was declared because he could not run for a third term.
Yeah.
Yan ang katotohanan.
He said that in his diary 2 days after what happened in Congress, when he said that in order to perpetuate myself to power, this is the easier way to it. And what is the easier way to it? Martial law.
Martial law, exacto.
Sabi niya, dapat nga, dineclare ko na yung martial law ngayon dahil nagkagulo na, but he said in his diary, this will not be accepted by the people. So we want the situation, we will wait for the situation to develop actually. Yun ang sinabi niya. To more body, an assassination attempt against me so that I can declare full martial law and the suspension of state, no?
Of habeas corpus.
And sabi niya, if I want to perpetuate myself to power, this is the easier way to it.
Yes.
Yan ang sinabi niya sa diary niya. So, hindi po ako nagsabi noon. That's a verified diary entry. President Marcos, 28 January of 1970. O yan, balikan natin. Ma'am, yung after that, yung Siege of Malacanang, hindi na kayo sumama doon, ano? That was 4 days
The Siege of Malacanang, no, nandun kami because nagpatawag ng dialogue si Marcos with the student leaders. Okay? So, kasali kami doon.
Nandun kayo sa dialogue na yun?
We were inside Malacanang when that siege happened.
Opo,
Kasi,
opo.
I also remember, pinatawag kami kasi magda-dialogue daw, pero imbes ng dialogue, pinagalitan kami ng pinagalitan. Linait kami ng linait. As a matter of fact, tumayo si Edgar Hopson at one point to speak up. Tapos sabi ni Marcos sa kanya, you, I know who you are. You son of a grocer. Ang sabi niya kay Edgar Hopson.
Famous yan.
Kasi di ba yung pamilya ni Hopson, meron yung Hopson supermarket, no?
Opo.
Pero yun yung words ni Marcos, I remember them so well. You son of a grocer. Ang sabi kay Hopson. At tinginan kami doon, sabi namin, bastusan na pala to. Walang dialogue ito, no? So we got up and we left. Some of us got up and left. Kami ni Sylvia.
You're like this.
Kami ni Sylvia Muñoz Ordonez. So palabas kami, on our way out, nakita namin yung mga the other student leaders, the more radical of our group, the KM, they were outside saying, "Oh, andyan pala kayo sa loob." Sabi namin, yeah, pero wala namang dialogue nangyayari. Minumura niya na si Edjop eh. So, alis na kami.
So ito na yung nangyayari ngayon, no? Binabato na yung gates mismo ng Malacanang at that time.
Yeah.
Wow,
that one turned also bloody. That one turned very bloody.
My God, I did not know. 4 people died actually. 4 students died. Yan. Alcantara,
yes.
3,000 at si Katabay.
Kasi they did not use rubber bullets. They were using live bullets na.
Grabe, ma'am. I did not expect that. Kasi ma'am, una sa lahat, sa edad nyo, sa itsura pala, I mean, I did not expect that you were a participant of the first quarter storm.
Bakit? Mukhang burgis, no?
Mukhang bata. I mean, yes.
Akala ko mukhang burgis.
Parang 5 years old pa lang kayo nung nangyari yung first quarter storm.
Yeah, no. I was already 20. How old was that? I must have been, when was that? 1981, no? 1970. 1970, I was 22 years old.
And ito nga ang wonderful dyan, mga kabibal, ano? Ito wonderful dyan. Ito yung mga bagay na kinikwento lang natin sa klase, hindi naman natin naranasan. Although may mga accounts at may mga newspapers clippings tayong nababasa dyan na pagtatagpi-tagpi natin. And now we are able to confirm some of the things that we are talking about with a participant. I did not expect nandun din kayo sa room with President Marcos, with Edgar Hopson, imaginein mo. And nakita ninyo yung famous line kasi di ba, Edgar Hopson was getting a commitment from Marcos to not change the constitution and run for a 3rd term.
Yes.
Yun yung point, yun yung beef eh. Sinasabi na ni Marcos na will not run, ganyan. Sabi, yun yung kikwento. Pero si Edgar Hopson wanted, kaya makita nyo may papel na hawak si Edgar. He wanted Marcos to sign that paper.
Yes. Nagalit si Marcos.
Yun. Sinabi niya na, who are you to tell me what to do? You're just a son of a grocer.
I know you are, you son of a grocer.
I mean,
yep, I remember that so clearly.
That is a show of power din. Kasi that means, hawak ni Marcos yung file, intelligence file.
Yes.
Si President ni Edgar Hopson. na
Yes.
ikaw ay alam, kilala kita, anak ka ng isang grocer.
Yeah.
Inimagine niyo yan, ano? Pero ma'am, ito na nga, ano, towards martial law, what did you feel when martial law was finally declared? Ano po yung mga naging moves nyo noon at that time? I think graduate na ho siguro kayo ng Sage Squad that time. Ano? And what were you doing at that time?
Well, I was already out of school. I was still doing I think I still had my children's show at that point. But when martial law was declared, number one, we knew it was coming. Diba? We believed that it was coming.
Yes.
Pero nung nangyari yon, gulat pa rin kami.
Correct.
We were still very shocked. But we did not think it would last that long, huh? Kasi sabi namin, no, we will not stand for this. We will, we'll object to it. We'll not stand for this. But look how long it lasted.
Pero,
From 19...
Kasi ang tanong ko dyan, syempre, for example, kayo at that time, you were part of the militant groups. Hindi ba kayo naharas? Hindi kayo hinabol? And then kayo, as nag-precautionary measures ba kayo? Tumigil muna kayo? Naglaylo muna kayo? How did you cope at this time? And how was it? How was it? No? Parang may panahon ba na parang you wanted to give it a chance or you were totally against it pero wala kayong magawa? How did you cope all those times?
I never really accepted martial law, no? But what could we do at that point?
Right.
And then a lot of the business people, especially, were on a wait and see attitude.
That's
Okay?
true. Parang ngayon lang din yan, di ba? I mean, with the new...
Yeah, baka naman something good. Yeah, baka naman something good will come out of this, no? Si Marcos was very, very bright.
Mm.
He started bringing into his cabinet mga technocrats.
The technocrats, yes.
Oo, non-politicians, no?
Right.
Who had very good reputations,
Right.
people like Cesar Virata,
Mm-mm.
Bong Tangco, these people whom you would never associate with military repression or anything. So it was a very strange time. Very strange time.
Right. Mm. So, and then ito na nga, that also was the start of your, kasi you have a show with yung formerly with June Kitli, and then nagkaroon ng GMA was already there at that time.
Yes.
Uncle Bob yan eh. I'm sorry, sabi ko wala pa yung GMA. Hindi martial law yan. Even before martial law, may RBS yata ang pangalan niya dati. Republic
Broadcasting System, yeah.
Tapos naging GMA, no?
Yeah.
Great, I think Greater Manila area talaga, no?
Yeah.
And then you got involved with the show called Miss Elenius.
Yes, but that was in 1976. That was about 4 or 5 years after martial law na.
1976.
1976.
Parang ito daw yung first variety show.
Yes.
Oo.
It was what we called it a magazine show kasi it's mga short features, no? And we were three
Parang
women.
gay. Parang ganon, pero tatlong
Oo,
babae
yes.
na kwento.
Yeah, and we were three hosts. Si Yogi Dominguez Zaragoza, si Tina Revilla, and myself. And it was directed also by a woman, Maria Montelibano.
Tita Maria. Hello, Tita Maria. Tawag
Yes.
Tita Maria sa Channel 4 noon. She was the one who gave me shout time. Kaya nagkaroon ako ng...
I see, yeah. So we
connected in that
opened in
way.
Channel 7.
Mm-hmm. Tapos ma'am,
We opened in Channel 7.
ito pinapakita ko actually, hindi ba hindi nyo nakikita sa inyong Zoom, pero pinapakita ko ngayon yung picture ninyo nung host. So ayan
Yes.
po ni Mama noon, ano?
Yes.
Kanyang mole nandyan pa rin, ano? Very
Yeah.
visible. Tina Rebilla, Ano nga, kilalang-kilala itong si Tina Revilla for something.
Ah, yeah, celebrity yan kasi star yan eh. I mean, she was
Student canteen din ito.
no, she wasn't student canteen. She had another show called Ariel Contina with Ariel Ureta.
Yes, tama. Oo.
And si Yogi Zaragoza naman was Miss Philippines. So, beauty queen.
Talagang gandahan ng tatlong women's month, 'di ba? Tatlong babae.
Oo, tatlong babae, yes.
Ito nga, sabi ni Romeo Del Carmen, Miscellaneous, a TV talk show hosted by Maan Hontiveros, Yogi Dominguez, and Tina Revilla, was considered the first magazine talk show on Philippine television. Yun pala, hindi variety, magazine. The title was
Magazine.
because the content of the show was, well, miscellaneous. It was talk, instructional, quiz, documentary, and even game. Directed by Maria Montelibano, the late Mitos Villarreal. Oy, nakatrabaho niyo pa pala si Ma'am Mitos.
Yes.
Eventually took over. It will go down in Philippine TV history as among the most polished programs when it came to presentation and with substantial content to boot. It is
Yes.
unequaled to this day. The show was produced and directed by Maria Montelibano, was aired from 1976 to 1986 over GMA 7. Yan po ang
Yes.
noong,
No, to 84 only. To 1984.
84. That was the year I was born. So,
Oh my God. Talaga siya? You're that young?
yeah. Believe it or not. Gen X.
Wow.
Pero yun nga, ma'am, how did you enjoy that show? And what do you
I
think
loved it.
made impact niya sa tao?
I love that show so much, you know. We learned so much from it kasi true nga to the title, miscellaneous. Yung sari-sari yung mga content noon, no? Meron kaming mga segments. So, si Tina Revilla, yung aming celebrity, would take care of mga Metro Manila features, what's happening in the city, ganon-ganon. Si Yogi Zaragoza naman, who was a beauty queen and a wife and mother, she would do features like her segment was called "You Can Do It." So she would give demonstrations on how to do things, and it wasn't just yung mga traditionally women stuff. No, she showed how you can change a tire, for instance. You know, how do you troubleshoot? How do you troubleshoot your car? Yung mga ganon. Tapos ako naman, I love to go around, so I would go with the film crew and we would film around the country. We'd go to for instance to an abattoir. How do they slaughter cows in Batangas? You know, how do they make salt in Pangasinan? Yung mga ganon. So we were the first show to actually go out and film. So we mixed 16mm film edited with live.
Wow.
So we would have live interviews and of course your usual guesting of singers and all that. It was a very, very fun, very, very entertaining and very informative show. At saka I really learned a lot from that. That's I learned how to edit. Everything about television I learned from the technicians of Channel 4.
Wow. Channel 4 na Channel 4.
I mean Channel 7
pala. Channel 7.
Oo.
Nasa Visayas Avenue na siya noon, 'di ba?
Yes.
At that time.
Yes. Yeah. And then we eventually moved to Channel 4 because we could not afford anymore the airtime in Channel 7. So,
black timer kayo.
Black timer kami. Oo. It was tough, because we had to sell the show, get our own sponsors and all that. But we really learned so much.
Ito, ma'am, para lang masaya. Ano yung naalala nyong sponsor na nakuha ninyo? Na parang favorite nyo sa mga sponsors ninyo noon?
Ay, ang dami. Toyota was one of them.
Wow.
You know? Toyota really, kasi we were always on the road, so nag-ex-deal kami. I was able to get my Land Cruiser from Toyota. Siyempre, featured yung Land Cruiser whenever we go to the countryside, no? And I still have that Land Cruiser up till today kasi classic na yun, yung box type.
Kasi gumagana pa.
Gumagana pa. It really needs to be
Calibrated.
redone, no? And body works and all that. Pero I'm not gonna let that go because that was yung reminder ba of such happy days.
Right, yeah. It makes you feel parang nostalgic.
Yeah, we were the first one to feature Boracay, for instance. Kami yung first na videotape doon sa Boracay.
Yung Boracay nun, wala pang masyadong tao, no?
Wala.
Sa 1980s na mga videos. Diba? Nung pumunta kami doon, iisa pa lang yung cottage sa buong beach. Yung kay Freddy Elizalde, yung kanyang private cottage doon. Oo, walang mga resorts yun doon. Ito ang question ko. Kasi kanina pa natin inaatake si Marcos eh. I think you're also in a way objective about it. Is there something good that came out of all of that? Na projects ni Marcos? Is there anything that you like about what they did?
I really have to think about that.
Metro Manila, any of the projects?
Well, I think the cultural center. Okay. Si Ninoy really lambasted Imelda for building the cultural center. Kasi sabi niya may edifice complex daw si Mrs. Marcos. Pero whether you like her or not, the point is that the cultural center was able to nourish so many Filipino artists and Filipino talents. Okay? Sina Rowena Arrieta. I mean, some of them became really world-class.
Lea Salonga.
Yes. Ballet Philippines is only 6 months younger than the cultural center. So the Philippine Philharmonic Orchestra, I mean, it really it gave a home and a venue for the arts. So I think that if I have to say something nice about Marshall Law, it was the cultural center.
Tama. Yeah, and in many ways I think the only administration na talagang nagbuhos ng pera sa culture eh. Of course, you have the culture,
that's true.
Which is the activist, renaissance din nila yon kasi nag-renaissance yung arts and the OPM under the sponsorship of Imelda and other people there. And then of course, kailangan may counter-narrative ka, di ba? And Apo Hiking Society, kahit OPM sila, medyo palaban din, and Inang Laya, for example, and other artists. No? Ito ma'am, papunta na tayo dun so you have the show, and then kasi I think involved din kayo in many ways dun sa pangyayaring ito. So especially even today when we try to when we try to remember it. No, and I'll just show the picture para mas visual ng konti ito pong event na ito, no? This is a watershed event eventually, of course. August 21 of 1983, ma'am, when Senator Ninoy Aquino was assassinated at the airport. Ma'am, nasan po kayo nung nangyari ito, and how did you feel about it?
I remember I flew back in that day. At that time, corporate communications company, and I had a filming outside of town. I remember, and when I landed in Manila, I was told that Ninoy was assassinated. I felt very bad because Lupita had contacted us to say that, can we gather people to meet Ninoy at the airport? And I couldn't make
Lupita Kashiwahara Aquino, the sister of Ninoy Aquino.
The sister of Ninoy, yes. She knew Ninoy was coming home, and she was trying to get some people to go to the airport, and meet him, and to provide some kind of security for him.
contextualize lang natin. Si Ma'am Lupita Concio, no? Lupita
Yes.
Shiwahara. Ano siya, film director, minsan
Yes.
gamo-gamo, so you're in the same circle, in the
Yes.
entertainment circle. So she was asking you to come to the airport so that there will be some security blanket in a way, no, dahil people will be there.
Yes.
And you will detect
Yes.
anything na masama na gagawin kay Ninoy.
Correct.
And people actually came.
Yes,
That
they
day,
did.
maraming
They did.
tao. Yeah. Pero kayo, you
Yes.
did not come.
I couldn't because I had that filming that I could not postpone.
Opo.
It was a contract that I had done. I had signed some time ago. So I told her I wasn't gonna come to the airport, but I was of course gonna monitor the situation. And then I found out that he had been assassinated. No, that was one of the darkest days, I think, for the Philippines history. No, and but that also triggered really the movement and the downfall of the Marcoses.
So ma'am, ito, Ninoy died, and then suddenly, what was the first thing? Parang galit kayo, and or what did you feel about that? And then parang what were the next steps for you?
Well, of course we were all very angry about it, and the thing that really bothered me was the fact that you remember the funeral of
Opo.
Ninoy.
Yes.
It was the biggest funeral this country had ever seen. Okay.
Right.
Pero would you believe that while it was happening, there wasn't a single frame on television showed?
Yeah, the funeral, yes.
They blocked it out completely. Walang, like it wasn't happening.
And ito pa yung masama, madam, ano? 'Di ba noong the next day, there was only one newspaper report about that funeral of Ninoy Aquino. And I'll just show you a bit, what happened that day, no? Napakalaki ng funeral na yan. 2 milyon ang pumunta diyan, 2 million people went to the funeral, no? I'll show you some footage there. Ayan, ma'am, did you come to the funeral of Ninoy?
Yes, yes, I was on Rojas Boulevard.
Rojas Boulevard. Hanapin natin yung
Yes,
Rojas
I was
Boulevard.
at Rojas Boulevard. I went to the wake, no? Even lining up to go to the wake in Times Avenue in their home. I mean, it took hours to get there to just catch a glimpse of Ninoy in his coffin. And I will also never forget that sight because Doña Aurora deliberately said, "Do not clean him up.
Right.
Show him with all the gory details of what they have done to him."
I want them to see what they did to my son.
Yes.
Ma'am, when you were in Rojas Boulevard, that was
Yes.
already after the rain really poured hard, but hindi natinag yung tao.
Hindi. No, and you could not see the beginning and the end of that funeral march.
Grabe.
It was really grabe.
Ayan, so someone shows the bloodied of Ninoy,
Yes, that's how he looked in his in his coffin.
Yeah, this is when ito na nga when they tingnan nga natin kung yung pila. May pila ba?
Yeah, the
Hanapin natin yung pumipila yung mga tao. This is already the assassination,
Yes.
Pero yun, pumila nga yung mga tao sa Times Street. Tama, no?
yes,
Times
all the
Street.
way from Times Street, yeah.
Right. Ayun. And then, of course, after that, Santo Domingo. Dinala sa Santo
Yes,
Domingo
Santo Domingo
para
Church.
malaki. Oh. Anyway, because we do not want to show, papakita sana ako, kaso baka trigger warning tsaka na lang. But you know what happened there? After that, ma'am, so sunod-sunod na yung protests and
Yes.
all of that, 1984, sabi nyo, natigil yung show nyo na miscellaneous. May
Yes.
bago ba kayong show after that? What were you
Wala
doing
na.
around that time?
No, the reason natigil yung show namin kasi if you remember, nag Marcos then declared there was going to be an election for the Batasang Pambansa.
Interim, no, not interim. The Batasang Pambansa. Oo. BP.
Batasang Pambansa.
Right,
Yes.
right.
So, si Senator Jokno was calling for a boycott of that. Kasi sabi niya, moro-moro lang yan. He's just gonna rig that election anyway. And he's just using it to justify himself so that he can perpetuate himself in power. So, magbabatasang pambansa siya, he'll run for prime minister. Siya pa rin yung bida, di ba?
Rubber stamp, parliament.
Rubber stamp. Rubber stamp lang daw yon, rubber stamp. So, si Eva Estrada Calao, on the other hand,
Right.
opposition also was saying, no, dapat we must participate and let us field as many candidates as we can at
That's
saka
true.
para may laban tayo within the system. So anyway, at that time they already said na martial law was lifted. May
Right.
cosmetic lifting ng martial law yun, di ba?
1981, yeah.
Yeah. So supposedly, freedom of speech, etc., etc. Pero alam naman natin that was not true because the media was still controlled by them. So anyway, napag-isipan namin sa miscellaneous, why don't we bring in the opposition to debate on whether mag-participate or mag-boycott? Okay. At that time, yung director namin already was Tats Manahan.
Si Tats, yung Tats, ito yung asawa ni Johnny.
Yes.
Tama.
Si Tats, okay.
I always see her recently. So, hello, Ma'am Tats. Ano
Yeah.
nangyari?
So anyway, so sabi ni Tats, yeah, because I mean, how can we not discuss it? It's really the issue of the day, no? So sabi ko, sige, let's invite Jokno and let's invite Eva Estrada Calao. Of course naman, you and I, we both know that we knew that Channel 4 would not really want that.
Of course.
Kasi government station sila eh. Pero black timer kami. Di ba? And at that time, live kami, and they never naman asked us to submit beforehand what we're showing kasi, you know, the show was kind of innocuous naman politically. Wala naman kami mga political discussions dun eh. So pinapabayaan lang kami. So that evening, we invited Eva Estrada Calao and Senator Jokno. Si Eva Estrada Calao declined. Hindi daw siya pwede. So si Senator Jokno na lang. So sabi ni Tats, we'll still continue? I said, yeah. I mean, you know, anyway, ang dami namang nagsasalita doon in the other shows about participation. Edi let's have Senator Jokno talk about boycott.
Boycott.
Dumating ngayon si Senator Jokno sa studio. Nagkagulo sa loob ng studio. They started running around, you know, mga Channel 4 people. Kasi sabi nila, what's Senator Jokno doing here? Sabi namin, guest namin sa miscellaneous. Patay mali siya kami. Guest namin for on the beat, you know, for hot seat. Hot seat yung segment na yun. We're putting him on the hot seat to talk about why he wants us to boycott. So, yung pala, tumawag na sila doon kay Director Sendanya at kung kanino pa sa mga studio bosses, no? So, linapitan ako ng one of the executive directors there. Sabi, is Senator Jokno going to be interviewed? I said, yes, he's going to be interviewed. And so, we're sitting down there on the set. Sabi ni Senator Jokno sa amin, you know, I don't really quite believe that I'll be interviewed tonight because I have not been interviewed since the start of Marso.
Yes,
there was not a television interview or radio interview of him.
Right,
Pero,
that's true.
How many years is that?
That's almost 12 years. 12 years,
Yes.
1984, yes.
For 12 years, there was a total blackout of Senator Jokno on the air. Okay? So sabi niya, I don't think this is happening. I said, well, maybe it won't happen. I told him, but, you know, we'll see. We said, because we're live, you know, we're going on live. Maniwala ka. We were watching the monitors for the show before us, no? Naghihintay kami sa air. Andun si I think it was Kit Tatad was there, and I don't know who else. We're talking also about the same topic, the batasang elections, no?
In
So I said,
another
"Oh,
show ba si Kit? In another show, si Kit?
yeah, it was another program. I don't know if
Right.
it was a new program. He was being interviewed.
Pero si Kit
So-
Tatad was already in the opposition at the time. Oh? Yes.
No, he was.
Hmm?
No, Kit Tatad wasn't in the opposition. At
There
the
was a
time,
time he, there was a time he
it was flip
he
flop.
flip-flopped. Oh. There
Uh,
was a time.
I don't quite remember. But anyway, so we're watching them, and we're talking there, and sabi ni Jock, no, well, they're not gonna like your show after this if we do get on the air. We said, oh, but sabi, oh, they said we can do, there's freedom of speech. But sabi niya, you're forcing their hand. Sabi namin, in a way, I guess, we'll see kung, forced to good sila, di ba? Maniwala ka, a few minutes before we were supposed to go on the air, nag-black out yung buong studio. Yung monitors all went black. Sabi ko, oh,
Ang galing.
how come the monitors are black? So they said, the transmitter failed.
Ayan
Our-
na.
Fail na daw yung transmitter. Sabi ko, meron naman tayong backup eh. Why don't you fire up the backup transmitter? Sabi nila, inaayos pa eh. So, ganito na lang, miss, mag-tape na lang tayo as live. Tapos, when it comes back on the air, i-playback natin. So, tanong ko kay Senator Joke, no, Senator, you want us to tape it as live, but I don't think they're going to air it. Sabi ko, because I don't believe that this is a transmitter failure.
Right.
Sabi ni Jock na, yeah, I don't believe it's a transmitter failure anyway. So what do you propose we do? I said, well, let's just sit here and wait the entire hour. If they bring it back on the air, then we will go back on the air. If they don't, then we don't go on the air. So ganun ang
Right.
nangyari. We sat in that studio for 1 hour waiting for them to fix the transmitter. They never fixed it. And they went blank for the entire evening.
For the entire evening. Even the
Yeah.
next shows. My
Even the
God.
next shows. Yeah, syempre, masyadong halata na yun siguro if they put the transmitter back on.
My
So
God.
anyway, the next day, I went to see Ed Finland.
Oh, Direct Ed, hello.
Yeah, Direct Ed. Oo. Kilala mo lahat to. So,
Ed Finland, sila ang mga nag-discover sa akin sa Channel 4. Of course, this was
sila
already
sila.
2009 na ito, hindi ito 1984, no? Ibang Ed Finland yun.
This is 1984. So anyway, sabi ni Finland sa akin, you were very naughty yesterday, ha? Sabi ko, me? I said, you were the ones who were naughty. You killed the transmitter. No. The transmitter really, there was a failure. Sabi ko, nako, bulahin yung lolo nyo.
Natatawa
Diba?
ako kasi habang sinasabi niya sa'yo yun, nai-imagine ko siya eh.
Oo, yeah.
Di ba, with the colorful personality that he has, ano? Oo,
Yes,
nakakamiss ka,
yeah,
Direct
yeah,
Ed.
yeah.
I miss you very much.
Yeah.
Ay, mabuting tao yan, ha? Si Direct Ed Finland.
Oo,
Mabuting
yeah. Of course,
tao
he
yan.
had a job to do. I mean, that was
We
part
love
of his
him.
job. I don't blame him.
We love him.
So,
Oo.
Yeah.
Nakakatawa nga, ma'am, kasi ang nakadiscover sa akin talaga sa Channel 4. So kaya ako napasok eventually sa Channel 4. Si Ed Finland, si
Okay.
Freddy Abando at si Rita Gadi.
Tagadi,
Kaya
yeah.
kaibigan ko silang lahat, ano? Kaibigan ko silang lahat. Okay.
Yeah.
So, ito na po, ano? Pupunta na tayo doon sa paano kayo napunta doon sa okay. I will now give you the context and papanood ko sa inyo and then ikukwento ni ma'am kung ano yung nangyari, ano?
Wait, so anyway, after that, we
Ayan na nga, ito na nga pala.
ended the show na. We ended Miscellaneous already after that kasi hindi na kami, ayaw na kaming payagan to go live eh. They didn't trust us anymore.
So they did not trust you anymore.
No more. So, we could still continue daw pero dapat pre-tape na kami. Sabi namin, ay, wag na lang.
Hindi
So, let's just
happy.
end the show.
Oh, hindi happy.
Hindi
Hindi
happy.
ano.
Hindi na kami happy.
Hindi ano,
Yeah.
kasi pagka live na ganito parang ano it's really spontaneous and all, ano.
Oo.
So, Okay, we will now go to fast forward tayo to February 24. 24. February 24, 1986. 'Di ba? Marcos was speaking on television kasi binalita ni na John Catle sa Radio Bandido na lumayas na ang Marcos. 'Di ba?
Oo.
And people
And
started
fake news
coming
yun.
out. Ha? Oo.
That was fake news.
People started coming out of the streets. 'Di ba? Kakaway-kaway si Enrile at si Ramos doon sa gitna ng EDSA, no? Camp Aguinaldo, Camp Crame. People really came. And then suddenly, si Marcos appeared on television. I'm still here and the people here can verify to you. This is the newspaper today. I am not Willie Nepomuceno. Yun na, narinig daw, sinabi niya na I am not Willie Nepomuceno. Si Willie Nepo, yun yung gumagaya kay Marcos, no? I'm not Will. Tapos doon sila nagmoro-moro ni Bear na
Ni Bear,
parang sinabi ni Bear na we're ready to please tell the civilians to leave the vicinity of Camp Crame immediately, Mr. President. So we come here to your order so we can immediately strike them. Yung RAM. Strike the RAM in Camp Crame. Tapos sabi naman niya, we have to mobilize the helicopters that we've got. We have 2 fighter planes flying now to strike at any time. So upon your orders, we need to fire. My order is not to attack. No. You hold on. Not to attack. Sabi niya. Pero sa totoo lang, yung order niya talaga ay attack Crame. Pero ito, yung context nga, yung nuance doon, don't fire on the crowd. Diba? Pero, you have to, ang problema doon, kung if you're going to attack the rebels, you might as well just have killed everybody else, diba? Because pag nag-war zone na yon, that's already, diba? Kumbaga, wala nang wala nang pilian. So, while they were doing that broadcast na sinasabi niyang buhay pa ako, 'di ba? Na nandito pa ako sa Pilipinas on Channel 4. By the way, Channel 4, we have to contextualize this. Channel 4 was MBS.
MBS 4
Broadcasting
System.
MBS 4, which was the facilities taken over from Channel 2.
ABS-CBN.
Oo, yung building ngayon ng Bohol Avenue, hindi Bohol Avenue, Sergeant Esguerra, bago niya Sergeant Esguerra, yung building na yun ang Channel 4 at that time.
Yes.
Yun yung yun yung government station. Nandun pati I think in Channel 9 is in Broadcast City, pero yung Channel 4 and some other facilities were there in ABS. So, ito na yung nangyari, no? While Marcos was speaking, ayan, ito, pakita natin. No? While Marcos was speaking, may mangyayari, no? Biglang mawawala. No? And then there says, New World, New Channel 4. Parang ganon, New World 4. And then this. Okay, wait lang. Wala pa lang sound, saglit lang. Ulitin natin.
Without
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
Channel 4 is on the air again to serve the people.
Thank you very much. Magandang hapon po sa inyo lahat, mga kaibigan. Ang Channel 4 ay on the air na naman upang magbigay sa inyo ng mga ulat. Alam ko pong kayo po ay maraming alalahanin, maraming takot, maraming nervyos dyan, kaya ang Channel 4 po ay narito muli upang pagsilbihan kayo. Kasama namin dito ay mga professional broadcasters at kami muna ang magsisimula. Without much ado, I'd like to introduce a beautiful lady on my left, and who would like to greet you, who would be helping us out in this special public service through Channel 4. Mga kaibigan, may I introduce to you Ms. Maan Hontiveros.
Good afternoon. We are very proud to bring to you the first free broadcast from Channel 4. The people have taken over and we promise to bring to you the news as it happens. I would also like to call on all our fellow broadcast practitioners out there. Tina Monzon Palma, your talent services are needed here. We would like to call on Inés Cacho Olivares, all the directors and TV directors out there like Johnny Manahan and Tats Manahan. I think now the people need you, so if you could please report here to Channel 4.
Grabe, no? Tolo order, ma'am, ha? Tolo order. Talagang pinangalanan nyo pa sila.
Yeah.
Tats Manahan, Johnny Manahan. Di ba? We are needed here. Tina Monzon Palma, of course. Nines Cacho Olivares. Wow. Look at that. Ano yan, ang bigat, ha? Parang the people had taken over. That were your words.
Yes.
No? Sino ba yung kasama na si Orly Punsalan ba yun?
Yes, si Orly Punsalan, yes.
Orly Punsalan. And then
si Father Efren Datu was with us also.
Father Efren. So, tingnan nyo, we will go a few hours before that. Okay? And you're saying na, di ba, doon time nga na Marcos was still here, may nangyari sa inyo, you were saying something, and then parang bigla na lang na nandun na kayo sa Channel 2, Channel 4, I mean.
Oo. Kasi si June Keith Lee had been broadcasting out of Radyo Bandido.
Right.
It was actually DZRJ kasi 'di ba yung Radyo Veritas was destroyed, no? The transmitters. Yeah, it was attacked by the goons of Marcos. And so they had to transfer the broadcast to another station. They went to DZRJ, which is owned by Ramon Jacinto. And it's very near Malacanang. It's
Right.
less than a kilometer from Malacanang.
Right.
So June Keith Lee had been broadcasting that entire night, and I was supposed to take over. Kasi
Right.
pagod na siya eh. So I told her, yes, I'm coming over. Pero I saw Marcos on television nga, nagbumoro-moro sila ni General Verdon. Naisip ko, oy, dapat patayin natin yung transmitter. You know? They showed me what to do 2 years before that. Just kill the transmitter, di ba? So
Right.
on my way to DZRJ, sabi ko I'll stop by Channel 4 muna, and I really did not have a plan, but I was thinking kung makakapasok ako ng studio, I would ask the engineers to pull the plug on the transmitter. I did not know na may operation that was going on right there, right at that time. So when I got to Channel 4, ayun, nagpuputukan na sila, no? So tumago na lang ako behind one of the postes there. I waited for a time kasi I was trying to figure out paano ako makakapasok na hindi ako mabaril, no? So tinawagan ko si June Keith Lee, and I told her, June, sorry pero medyo malilate ako ng konti kasi there's firefight going on here sa Channel 4. Kailangan kong kausapin yung engineering na patayin yung transmitter. So sabi ni June, sige, but be careful, wag kang mabaril diyan, ha? And then she told me, hey, your father is here, sabi niya. Kasi my father knew I was going to DCRJ. Sabi niya, what do I tell him? Sabi ko, oy, keep him there, don't tell him where I am. So my father ended up spending that entire day guarding June Keith Lee in DCRJ while I was in Channel 4.
Wow.
Tapos maya-maya, nag-surrender yung mga Marcos troops from inside the station. They laid down their arms,
Right.
and we were able to take over. So,
By the way, ma'am, habang kinikwento nyo yan, we're actually showing clips of what you're talking about, ano? Na
Yes.
take over nyo, and then sumusuko yung mga troops, no? And then what
Yes.
happened inside?
well, what do you call that? Remember, I made that appeal for the directors and broadcasters to come. And
Opo.
then we continued the appeal, and we asked people to come and surround the station kasi we found out na they were going to try and retake the station.
Right.
So people started coming already and surrounding the station, no? And so after a certain point, sabi ko, sige, the others were taking over na. I went with a group of technicians naman. We got one of the OB vans. yung mga outside broadcast vans, and we brought it to Camp Aguinaldo, to Ramos and Enrile. Alam mo, ang dami-daming tao. I had to walk in front of that van. We literally linakad namin from Channel 4 all the way to Camp Aguinaldo. Kasi the crowd was so thick already. So I had to get in front to tell people, padaan, kasi pupunta kami ng Aguinaldo.
Right. Wow. Yung pala, by the way, ngayon ko lang na-realize, yung palang ibig sabihin ng OB van, outside broadcast van. Oh?
Yes.
So, yung mga OB,
Ang tagal mo na sa television, ngayon mo lang nalaman yun.
Nakakaloka. Pag sa OB van, nandun si Direk Ed Finland, yung kinukumpas-kumpas yung mga kamay niyang ganyan pag kami coverage kami. Yung pala ang tawag doon, OB van, outside broadcast. Ano ito, ma'am, nakakatuwa, ano? Yung mga OB van na matataas na yung antena, no?
Oo, yeah.
Matataas na. Pero ma'am, yun na nga.
Yes,
So,
yes.
you were there, no?
So-
And yung mga yun, how did you convince people, yung mga cameramen, for example, who were working at that time for the government, and then suddenly you came along, was it really, naging may struggle ba? Napuno ba sila ng takot? How did you manage to convince these people to work again? I mean, to come out? Ang nalaman ko pa, ma'am, there was, nung pumasok daw yung mga sundalo ng RAM, at saka nung mga forces natin doon sa Channel 4, nagtatago daw yung mga newscaster sa mga ilalim ng mesa, no? So, how was that situation po?
Well, the technicians naman, the engineers and all that, many of them also were not for martial law. Huh? I mean, they were not for Marcos. It was their job. Trabaho lang naman yun para sa kanila.
Right.
And when they saw that the people took over and all that, we told them, are you willing to come back and broadcast now for Mrs. Aquino? So and they did. They came back and they fired up the transmitter again, and they manned the cameras and all that. So they did it voluntarily. Wala namang nagpilit sa kanila. I mean, it was not under gunpoint that they came back to work, no? One of the sad things talaga is when we entered the station, there was one casualty inside. The father of Bobby Arias died of a heart attack during that takeover. Yeah, he died of a heart attack, and that was very sad because I knew him. He was a really good man. Sa engineering yun sa engineering department yun. So that was sad, no? That he succumbed there, no? Pero I remember ang gulo-gulo, no? When we got the OB van, nobody could find the keys. Nagkagulo, syempre, everything was a mess, no?
Right.
So we had to look for cameras. We had to, get the equipment together. We couldn't find the keys. We finally got somebody to hotwire the car, the van, kasi walang mga susi Tapos walang gasolina. So we got to the gas station. Ayaw kaming bigyan ng gasolina ng gasoline attendant kasi tak din sila. Baka may consequences yun if they aid and abet us, no? So, labas na naman ako sa van and I was telling the people, kailangan namin ng gasolina. Ayaw kaming bigyan ng gasolina. Pupunta kami ng Camp Aguinaldo. So the people saying, gasolina, bigyan ng gasolina, so they gas us up.
Wow.
It was, I really don't know. None of this were planned. I mean, we did not have a general plan for this. Parang things were happening spontaneously. Ito pang kwento ko.
Divine Providence, ano?
Oh, Divine Providence. And I remember, when we got to Aguinaldo, takbo kami doon sa taas. Andun si Ramos at si Enrile. And I was expecting that they would be very happy to see my OB van na, no? And they would be able to speak directly to the people. Aba, pinagalitan pa kami ni at that time General Ramos. Sabi sa akin, ni Eddie Ramos, galit na galit siya, no? Sabi niya, Maan Hontiveros, you know, I've been trying to call Channel 4. Sabi niya, busy yung mga telepono ninyo. Everybody's there talking like they are, ano nga yung sabi niya, political analysts. Nagpo-political analysts lahat ng mga tao doon. Sabi niya, I cannot get through. This is a war, you know? Naiyak ako. I was so tired. Pagod na pag-ulan, tulog and everything. Had to walk all the way there. I had to escort the van. Tapos masigawan ako pagdating ko doon. Talagang
Sasabunin ka pa ni
wala.
Eddie Ramos.
Umiyak ako. I remember months. Oo, napagalitan pa ako. Nako, tinarayan ako. And I remember many months after that, he was joking me. He said, iyakin ka pala, no? Sabi sa akin. Akala kong tapang-tapang mo, iyakin ka rin pala, no?
Ako, knowing General Ramos, ano? Di ba? Parang fan siya, pero nakita mo siyang magalit, which is quite rare, di ba? Kasi laging cool lang yan, eh.
Yeah.
Why are you all acting like political analyst? Kaya natin to. Philippines 2000.
Oo, sabi niya, this is war. This is a war, you know? Sabi niya.
Okay, mama. Ito, so magpapalabas na ako ng clip, and then of course I'll ask you how it felt when you've heard this broadcast from Channel 4, no? Ay, teka. Yeah.
Stood firm. Together they had fought. Together they had prayed. Together they would break out in triumph at the news that came past 9 p.m.
That it is confirmed Mr. Marcos has left this country. I guess it seems like we waited for this forever. And it certainly took a long time coming. And there have been so many heroes, yes. And we've said this over and over again all these days.
Okay, so si Bong Lapira was there, siya yung umiiyak doon, no? And then yung kanina pa natin si Jun Kitley who was there manning yung torre dyan sa Santa Mesa, no? Yung building ni RJ Jacinto.
No, she was already in Channel 4.
At that time.
She moved to Channel 4.
Right. So she was manning and then she went to Channel 4. Nasa na kayo nun, ma'am? Wala kayo sa Channel 4 nun? Nasa labas kayo?
I was with Cory Aquino.
You were with Tita Cory na.
I was with Tita Cory because syempre there were so many people already in the studio. Sabi ko, what for? I'm just excess baggage there, no? That's why.
Was she in Wakwak? Was she in Wakwak at that time? Sa bahay ni Josephine?
She was in her sister's Josephine's house.
Yeah, sa Wakwak.
House of Josephine. So I went there with a small crew, with an ENG crew, to get her first statement as president. This is kasi after she was sworn in already at
Club Filipino.
Right. It was also me and my crew that took that footage of her in. So I made myself useful by going out. You know me naman, I'm lakwachera talaga. I don't like being in the studio, no? Yes. So we covered the President Cory at what do you call that, at Club Filipino. And before we go to that clip about when it was over, I have to tell you something, Xiao. Alam mo, I'm not a very religious person, no? Pero there were so many coincidences that happened during that time that people would say it's miraculous, no? Like for instance, yung swearing in it ni President Cory sa Club Filipino. Okay, we did not have an ENG team there. Wala kaming microwave. So we did not have an OB van there. ENG lang yung camera namin doon. So we actually had to run with the tape from after the swearing in, yung tape tinakbo namin sa Channel 4. Okay? And you know that the crowds were very thick, no? Right. So you ride and then pag hindi na you could not anymore move forward with the car. Labas kami, takbo na naman kami until we could get another ride to get to the station. Pagdating ko sa studio, dala-dala ko yung tape, no? So I ran to Johnny Manahan. Johnny, I said, here's the swearing in of President Cory. So he grabs the tape from me and he says, go in there, go to the studio, sabi niya, and get a mic and announce it, ha? Isasalang namin yung tape. Kasi tape lang yun eh.
Right.
So, pasok ako sa studio and nobody wanted to give me a seat sa set.
Lahat sila
Kasi lahat sila doon everybody wanted to be on camera. And I kept saying, I kept signaling them, give me a space to come in. Nobody would let me go. Finally, sabi ng floor director, pasok ka na lang doon. So I went in and I sat down there and I grabbed somebody's mic. Ma-appreciate mo to kasi you know what TV production is like.
Right.
This was live.
Right.
So I grabbed the camera and then they cued me. Okay, cue the tape, So I said, I don't remember exactly what I said, but something but we bring to you the swearing in of President Corazon Aquino. And then sinalang nila yung tape. Okay? And after they put it on the air and you could see Cory there being sworn in, nagsigawan sina Johnny doon sa director's booth. So, ayun na naman ako. Takbo ako doon sa director's booth. What's happening? Look! He points to the can. Yung Channel 9 and 13,
right,
they were
Marcos.
showing Marcos about to be sworn in, di ba?
Right, about to be sworn in, magtataas pa lang, cut off the air.
Cut off the air.
Yes,
okay.
yes.
Because that is exactly when the sharpshooters of Ram were able to shoot the transmitter. And actually,
right.
there was a soldier up there that got killed, no?
Right.
On the tower. But can you imagine ang timing nun? How could that be possible? Kasi there was no way you could tell when the tape was gonna get to Channel 4.
Ito na. Look
But
at
the
this,
timing was exacto.
Right, look. So, nagtaas ng kamay si Makoy, biglang naputol, hindi alam ng gagawin ng Channel 9, nag-cut off sila, and then natamaan na yung transmitter, and then nakikita binababa na po yung patay dito. Doon sa antena. Kasi siya yung nagbabantay ng transmitter eh. So, they have to kill him. Yung mga so may casualty. Actually, hindi nga totally bloodless yun.
Yeah, there was one casualty. Yeah, so you cannot say it was a bloodless revolution because there was a casualty. But then so people switched channels kasi wala na si Marcos, di ba? They switched channels and then they see Cory being sworn in.
Ganda. So wow,
now how do you time that?
Yeah, right.
That's impossible to time. Impossible to time.
And serendipitous nga because Cory Aquino wanted her the people of Cory wanted her inauguration earlier than 12 eh. Para nga unahan si President Marcos. And when the swearing in was done, you have to run enough time for you to kumbaga ipagsabay. Ipagsabay yung footage na yon, and then the live feed that eventually was cut off the air, and so people went to your broadcast.
Channel 4, yeah. Can you imagine that?
Look at that.
So anyway, at that beautiful footage of June Keithley and everybody announcing the Marcos's departure, I did not see that because I was at Josephine's house videotaping President Aquino. And the thing is, we were there, we were waiting for hours, no? Kasi sabi namin sa kanya, we need your first message as president. Then nobody had seen her since that swearing in. So that entire day, andun siya sa bahay ni Josephine.
Josephine, yes.
Pero, yes. And she said, no, I cannot make a statement until Marcos is out of the country. It's out of Malacanang, sabi niya. I gave my word. Kasi it was being brokered, I think, through the U.S. Embassy, through the U.S. ambassador.
Right. Si Boss Worth.
Si Boss Worth, yeah. So she said, I cannot come out with a state. So we were telling her, but ma'am, we will still have to run with the tape back to Channel 4, so we will embargo it. And you tell us when to release it. But Cory is a very a very strict person, you know, when she said, no, I gave my word, I would not make a statement until he's
Ganun
out of
talaga siya,
Malacanang. Sa kanya, it's down to the last word. So she said, no, you have to wait. So intay kami. And then finally, she comes out and she says, okay, he's leaving Malacanang now. She said, and as soon as he lifts up, then we'll take. So ready na kami. We had been ready for hours before that.
Right.
No? But finally sat down and we videotaped her message. And I remember her message was something about, you know, we've worked hard for this, blah, 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 blah. And I now ask you to leave the barricades and go home to your families and blah, 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 whatever. Okay. But after she made that statement, sabi ko, preview. Sabi ko sa BTR man, preview mo. He previewed it. Would you believe sira yung video?
Oh my God.
So there was only audio, pero sira yung video because, you know, we grabbed whatever tapes there were and we didn't even know. But so
Right.
I ran to Teddy Boy and I told him, Teddy Boy, we need Mrs. Aquino President Aquino to come back for a take 2. Sabi ni Teddy Boy sa akin, take 2? Are you crazy?
Are you crazy?
Sabi sa akin, are you crazy? You want the president to do a take 2? Sinigawan ako ni Teddy Boy. Sabi ko, yeah, the one. I said, I know, but it's technical. There's something wrong. I said, the video doesn't work. Well, God damn it. Galit na galit si Teddy Boy, no? Buti na lang andun din si Father Bernas. So I ran to Father Bernas. Sabi ko, Father Bernas, please, can you get the president to come back and redo her message?
Oh my God.
Ay, syempre, can you imagine? I wanted to cry na naman because can you imagine you fail at something which is of historic value, right?
Correct.
So, gusto na kami magpakamatay yung crew. So, Father Bernas says, wait, I'll call her. So he goes to Mrs. Aquino and she comes and she says, there's something wrong with the tape? I said, yes, ma'am. I'm really, really sorry, but the video was damaged. And she says, wait. Maybe I should not have said what I said. She said, let me review. So balik na naman siya sa kwarto with Father Bernas to look at her statement. Tapos she comes out and we're about to tape. Dating naman si I think it was Johnny Ponce Enrile arrives. Mrs. President na, so distracted na naman siya, no? Then finally, she sits down and she's about to start na naman. General Ramos comes in. Mrs. President, the people are dancing in the streets. And she looked at me, she said, see, there was something wrong with my statement. Sabi niya, I asked the people to leave the barricades. I would have been the biggest killjoy, sabi niya. So she removed that from her statement about leaving the barricades. So nag-take 2 nga siya.
Wow, look at that. Grabe.
Again, the coincidence, di ba? You call that a coincidence or you call that a miracle?
Right. It's like, sabi nga ni Cardinal Sin, it's the miracle of EDSA is little miracles happening all around the same time. Diba?
Yes,
in the
you were
people's
playing
hearts.
that video. Yeah, you were playing that video, Xiao.
Yes.
Show them the statement of, that is her first statement as president.
Actually, I really do not know if this is it kasi I got it from a tape from someone, ano. Pero sige, let's look at it. Baka kasi ito nga yun, ano. I'll play it, ano. I don't know kung siya nga eh. Teka, let's see. Dito ba yan? Dito. One more. I don't know if this is it, ano. Nakuha ko lang beta dito eh. Another one.
Believe ako sa'yo kung saan mo nahahagilap itong mga videos na to.
Ma'am, actually kasi nasa isang hard drive lang yan eh. Dahil ginagamit ko nga sa klase minsan. And pagka may biglang kailangan kong anuhin, tatatingnan natin. Another one. Ba't pa na wala ako? Ito. Ito, mga malapit na. Ito mga ano to yung mga program noon na ni-record ng tao na wait, what happened there? Si Bob Garon, for example, some are the footage of Bob Garon.
Aha.
Teka, babalik tayo. Kay Tita Aurora tayo. Tita Aurora. Somewhere here yan. Okay, wait a minute. Okay lang saglit lang po. Maganda nga
Yes.
makita natin ito. Baka ito yun eh. Ito. Let's see. Pero parang about Ninoy. Pero, I mean, at least...
The oppressed and the deprived. Ano po ang nais kong maibalik sa pamahalaan? Ang kailangan po natin ay isang pamahalaan na mapagtitiwalaan. Wala na pong credibility ang Marcos.
That's not the tape, right? Yeah.
No, that's not
Pero-
the one. No.
Pero it's very close to the time. So at least you have an idea how she
Yes,
looked like
yes,
at the time.
yes.
Oto,
Yes.
ma'am, 8:46 na, no? So, i-wrap up na lang din natin unless may mga questions pa, no? Vilma Briones Chua, makasaysayang gabi po, madam, and anak ko, big hug, mabuhay po kayo. It's your birthday, mama. I love you. Thank you for watching. J.R. Romero, I love you very much. J.R. Romero, Chin Charles Espiritu from Manila, Ched Alog Recaro, sabi ni Agnes Rica Frente, I became part of the EDSA People Power Revolution. I went there during that time. Ito ma'am, kasi People Power, you were a participant. But I think you brought People Power also to other aspects. No? Kasi, una sa lahat, I think part kayo ng Spirit of EDSA Foundation. Is that right? Were you part of it?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes.
So, Spirit of EDSA, but you're also part of the climate justice movement, no? Ano po yung involvement nyo dito sa parang naman pakikibaka naman natin for climate change? I mean against climate change.
I've always been very passionate about the environment, no, particularly the marine environment. Kasi I'm a scuba diver. The whole family scuba dives. I live on the beach bum ako, and I
Right.
see talaga all the pollution that's
Right.
happening in the seas, no. I mean, we're like basureros there. We clean the reef. We pick up trash all the time, not just from the beach but inside in the reefs. And we've been
In
working
the
on
reefs?
yes,
Ah,
may
my
mga may
God.
garbage sa reefs natin. You know, and of course when garbage covers those coral reefs, they die. And then I've seen too many turtles that are dying because they ingested plastic, you know, and it's a very painful death for these turtles. So I work with a group called the Reef Check Conservation Program Philippines, and that's one of our advocacies is getting mapping out the Philippine reefs and checking the status of the reefs by doing monitoring, no? And we try to get the coastal communities, mga fishermen, the families of the fishermen involved.
Wow.
We've trained some of them to be scuba divers so that they can do these monitoring activities with us and with the marine scientists. We're just trying to do every bit that we can.
Grabe, no? Kasi ma'am, even today, as we speak, there's actually a crisis in Mindoro.
Yes,
Na
the oil
nag-oil spill. In one
Yes.
of the most biodiverse parts of the country, Mindoro. Diba? This
Yeah.
happened. Diba? My God. Oh. Pero ma'am, ito, no? And then, you also became president of the Manila Symphony Orchestra. So,
Yes.
yung ano niya naman sa arts, tuloy-tuloy din. Diba?
Yeah.
Anong role ng arts in empowering people?
You know, our art and culture is so integral to the human being, no?
Right.
Parang people think that art, culture, nice to have but not necessary. That's not true, because it's so much a part of the soul of a nation, no? And music empowers.
Right.
Music also clarifies. It opens your mind, you know. And I think if you if you don't have music in your life, you're impoverished.
That's true. That's true. Mm. So, looking back, no, reflecting on all of this, no, nitong buhay ninyo, um, what was the, kumbaga parang people power? Today, people are saying na we should forget it. Parang it's not anymore relevant. Kahit kanina, kakasabi lang sa akin ng isang kaibigan kong colleague ko na, people power is not relevant anymore. It was too politicized and all of that. And then of course you see historical distortions everywhere about it, no? The victory of the people is being turned into mob rule by some, people na mob rule lang ito and all of that. Anong nararamdaman nyo and what do you want to tell them?
That is so untrue. People power is it's not just also on the political front. In every aspect of your life, people
Right.
power is important. We have to take control of our lives, diba? We
Right.
cannot wait for government to do things for us.
Right.
As Ramos always told us, President Ramos always told us, people power is not something that you just do when you're fighting oppression. It's a part of your life. You pick up a shovel and do your part. So people power has got to be in our daily lives.
Right. Right. Siguro ma'am,
And as they say, there are no oppressed people. You don't get there are no oppressors where people do not allow themselves to be oppressed, no?
right. And ito, gusto kong ipakita rin sa mga kabataan na people were always saying this, walang nagbago noong nangyari yung people power. What changed? Like, anong magandang naidulot? Kasi lagi tayo nagfo-focus dun sa kakulangan. Totoo naman, di ba? Maraming kakulangan yung nangyari pagkatapos ng EDSA about the flaws of democratization and all of that, no? But the life that you had in the 1970s, although you were a TV show host and all of that, and then you were able to experience being silenced, di ba?
Yeah.
And feeling that in such a way na talagang you lost your show, di ba?
Yeah.
You thought of, kasi wala na eh, what's the point, di ba? And then people are saying na walang nagbago. What can you say about this?
Well, that's not true. I mean, of course, now they say na media is being silenced again, and you see the oppression of people of Rappler, for instance, and all that. But you see that there's a pushback.
Right.
They're holding the line. Maria Ressa is holding the line, and she courages on. That would not have been possible under martial law before. I mean, once you let the bird out of the cage, you're not gonna get him back in.
Right.
And people know now that you can speak out if you want to, right?
Right.
I mean, there are risks to it, of course, but I don't think they will ever be able to have the kind of control that they had then. Of course, now with social media and everything, now it's hard to tell the what is true and what is not true, no?
Right.
Because now it's the loudest voice or the most compelling story is what is being believed. And as Maria Ressa pointed out also, you repeat something or a lie often enough, people begin to believe it's the truth.
Right.
So we have to continue fighting that, and it's people like you, the historians, educators that really want to preach what is true, and want to show the young people how to think critically, I mean, I don't think it's all lost yet, no? It's very endangered, but it's still there.
It is important that you are reminding us that we can still do it. Sabi nga ni,
Of course, we can do it.
diba? Kaya
Yeah.
natin ito. Kaya
Yes.
natin ito. We can do this. Very hopeful message, no? Wala pang questions na nagre-register sa akin, di ba? Sandra from Vibal, wala pang questions na nag-register sa akin. I think talagang nalilibang lang sila sa pinagkukwentuhan natin. So siguro I can now proceed to, madami na akong tinanong kay ma'am and siguro marami na rin siyang na-share sa atin. My last final question would be is that as a Filipina, as a Filipino woman, as a Filipina, you are so empowered in life. I mean, former CEO of AirAsia Philippines, no, let's add to all the list the things that we talked about, ano, ang dami niyo nang nagawa sa buhay. And now, of course, you have I think this is your own firm, no? Na ano ninyo, and we have the time to talk about it, but anong mensahe nyo pa sa mga kababaihan at kabataan? You were once a young broadcaster, no, who aspired to make it. Ano ang mensahe ninyo doon sa dalawang sektor natin, kababaihan at kabataan, no? Looking back at your life now, what lessons can we draw from it?
For one thing, I think what I would say to everyone is that kailangan you have to dream, okay?
Right.
And you have to follow your dream. Dapat don't set limits to what you can do, because actually kung talagang may passion ka for something, you will pursue it and the universe will make it happen for you also. So you have to find out what it is that you're most passionate about. What is the kind of work that makes me happy, makes me want to get up in the morning and say, wow, I'm ready to work.
Right.
Kasi it's not about how much money you're going to make. You'll never be good at something if you don't have the passion for it. Right. And when you're good at something, then you become better at it, and it gives you more value, no? And it will happen. I mean, the money comes, the money and the living will come, di ba? You don't pursue something because of what monetary gains it's going to give you if it's not something that makes you happy. And for women and for the girls out there, there's no limit to what you can do. Hindi pwede, there's no such thing as, it's a man's world, trabaho ng lalaki yan. Wala na yan, wala yan. It wasn't relevant in my time. I'm 75 years old now. It was never relevant in my time. It's not relevant in their time, certainly. Kasi they can do anything they want. I mean, pumasok ako sa airline industry, wala akong kaalam-alam sa airline business, and most of the CEOs of airlines were men. So people would say, a girl to be a CEO of an airline? Why not? Di ba? Nangyari. There's no such thing. We set our own limits kasi.
And look at how young you look. You just revealed your age, 75. Hindi halata na, because you've been always happy, no?
Yeah.
In the things that you do, and still very energetic and still very much at it. Kumbaga. Yeah. Ma'am, wag mo na kayong aalis, no? After the song, when we played the last song, let's have a picture taking, no? Maghintay lang po kayo. Pero again, thank you very much. Sabi ni Mary Joyce Lana, very fruitful story, ma'am. Thanks to the both of you. Joan Ignao Landong, thank you very much for watching. Again, marami pong salamat. Let's give it up for Maan Hontiveros. Yeah.
Thank you.
Ma'am, ang dami kong natutunan. Salamat po.
Thank
So,
you. Salamat din.
Yan, mga kaibigan, napakinggan po natin ang kwento ni Ma'am Marianne Hontiveros, no? At dito nyo po makikita ako, inspired na inspired, lumaki lalo ang respeto ko. Kilala ko na po si Ma'am, no? Kasi napapanood din natin siya sa television matagal. Pero ngayon natin nalaman yung ilan lamang. Of course, hindi pa yan yung kabuuan ng kanyang experiences. Pero sa totoo lang, ang dami na ho nating nakuha, ang daming natutuhan. This interview is actually a roller coaster for me sa excitement, no, na kinekwento niya mismo yung nakita niya sa kasaysayan. Halos mangiyak-ngiyak ako in a way, no, not because it nakakaiyak, but it's really being like at the front seat of the things that I was just teaching, and here she is confirming and telling us about them with more details. And talagang this is where you will say, no, from the time of Gabriela Silang, for example, or Teresa Magbanwa, diba, and all of these people, ang kababaihan po is at the forefront of the struggle for freedom, and the ways that women do it is not just in, you know, in the kitchen, feeding people, or even, you know, holding a gun. There are different ways of serving our people. And the women were able to show the versatility of the things that they can do, diba? Because the art, broadcasting, all of that is important when you are creating a nation. Because yung public message, the public messaging about nation building is the most important thing when we talk about nation building. Na kailangan niya na yung umano sa tao. And I think Maan Hontiveros contributed very well to that. And it's a testament na kaya ng babae at mabuhay ang mga kababaihan dito sa Pilipinas. So mga kaibigan, thank you very much for joining us. No? This is again, ako po si Xiao Chuay, isang public historian. Maraming salamat at lagi po nating tatandaan ang kasaysayan ay Kaysaya. Bye-bye.
Sa puso't isip laging kukup-kupin mga gunitang sa atin nakarating. Bayan pukawin sa diwa't damdamin. Pangarap ng kahapon ating tuparin. Mabubuting bagay sisikaping saliksikin. Aral ng kahapon susulatin. Malayong kahapon sisikapin panglibutin. Nalalaman atin pang payayabungin. Salam sa kaibig-ibig mong layunin. Padayon sa iyong pagiging ng kahapong nagnanais na marinig, ng ngayon at ng bukas na darating. Luwid ka mananalaysay sa iyong papel. Turuan mga kababayan na daigin. Agam-agam sa sarili, tangal papag-alabin, gabayan, bayan ng kabutihan, landasin. Mula si tangkay hanggang mavulis, hilig sa nakaraan payabungin. At kung marating anumang lupain, may pagtatanggol sarili ng may lalim. Salam sa kaibig-ibig mong layunin. ng bukas na darating. Luwid kang mananalaysay sa iyong papel. Turuan mga kababayan na daigin. Agam-agam sa sarili, dangal papagalamin, gabayan, bayan ng kabutihan, landasin. Mabuhay ka, mabuhay ka, kapisanang kasaysayan.